Hey, folks, we're going to get started in about a minute here. I tap them, and we'll get started. Hold on to your butts, because we're about to go dig deep into what we're about to go and talk about what's going on and how history is going to repeat itself. So I will be right back, folks. Hold on, folks. All right, folks. Down the road. Mm-hmm. That's not it. That's my Twitch. I don't know why that did that for, but anyway, it's stupid. We'll fix that real quick. Mm-hmm. So today, we're going to be doing some let me do something interesting. Hold on here. I've got to do this for everything that goes on. And today we're going to be talking about we're going to be talking about stuff that's been going on, and I've been watching closely. Now, let me put something on here that's there we go. Now, I normally don't like talking about stuff like this because there's an issue. But I've been playing MMOs for a long time and other games with the community. You tend to see problems. I'm sorry, just finishing up the start talking. I need to eat my lunch here. I'm running behind. Had some real life stuff I had to handle. So the usual real life stuff has to come first. Issue comes in. Yes, I say consistency is good, but when real life steps in, you got to take time to deal with it. But now I'm dealing with it. Now we're here, folks. I would like. There you go, folks. We're gonna have a nice little conversation today about how the 14 community is repeating the same mistakes of WoW. And it's doing it in the most, or people are not paying attention to the most. What I'm saying is that from my knowledge and from my wisdom and my experience of playing MMOs throughout the years, a lot of these nut jobs haven't been playing as long as I have. Now, from my experience, it usually goes, as the saying goes, history tends to repeat itself. And those who fail to learn from history are doomed to repeat it. Well, it's happening, folks. It's happening. And people are not paying attention to the warning signs. Like with what happened with WoW, and how a good portion of a good 90% of the community got pushed out because they listened to the wrong group of people. It's happening again. Only this time it's happening in the Final Fantasy XIV community. But I think this is a combination of two things. It's a combination of folks. It's the same group of people from the hardcore community, from the hardcore raiding community from WoW that came to 14. And the will and the ignorance of the rest of the community not paying attention to what happened in WoW and saying, oh, it's not going to happen here. It's happening here, folks. It's happening. All the music you hear on here is copyright free from... Right now that you're hearing is from Pretzel. So there won't be any copyright music, copyright claims. There is, I just contact Pretzel and I tell them, this is from Pretzel, you deal with it. Now, from my experience, and I'll say this is from over 20 years of experience playing various MMOs. You've got the same group of people, or people they induct into their ranks, that have the same mentality of the 98% should kowtow to the 2%. No, that should not be. It should be the 2% should be working with the 98%. If you're only working to serve yourselves, not going... You're not going to, how do I best put it? Hold on here, I might have to stop the stream real quick because the settings are not keeping up. Okay, we're back. Sorry about that. That just had to fix up had to fix a audio issue. And let's just say that I'm gonna be honest with you guys, because there's a certain point to where there's going to be a certain point to where you just have to sit here and tell folks, look, what's going on? See over here? You see the mistakes you're doing? Now, you come over here and take a good look what's going on over here. It's the same mistakes you guys did the first time that you're doing here. Have you guys learned from the first time that you made that mistake? Oh, WoW's failing because you caused the problem. Well, let's go with the Final Fantasy XIV. Oh, we're running into the same problems again. You caused the same problems the first time. Pay attention to what you guys are doing. It's either one of two things. Either one, you're being ignorant to what you guys did in the past, and you're repeating it. Or two, you're being willfully ignorant, or you're purposely doing it so you can repeat, and if it's going to repeat what you're doing, what you did for WoW, that you're going to do here, causing more division within the community. And it doesn't, you don't seem to realize what you're doing is going to cause damage. It's going to cause you irreparable damage to the community. You're going to separate the community out even more. You've already got the community fragmented. If that's what your job, that's what you wanted to do, well, congratulations, you accomplished that. Because I don't see anything better. I don't see the community improving unless, A, you get rid of the problem children that are causing this. And there's various sources. There's various sources that did that. You remove My simple philosophy at this point would be cut all add-on and plug-in services that function outside Final Fantasy 14 that effectively was on in-game. Cut it all off, shut it down, say you guys can't act right, punishment for everyone. Let them all, let UCP do that. Cut off ban all add-ons and third-party software until the community starts acting straight again. Because it's not acting right. I'm seeing this. It's clear as day. There are problem children within the community that people don't seem to realize that are causing the problems. And they're just sitting back letting this happen. You got to realize that eventually it's going to come to a point where you got to say something. Hey, this shit's not cool. You need to stop this. If not, you're going to get a repeat of what happened the last time. Or in WoW, where the raiding community is the only one left, and everybody else has got chased out. Well, maybe the furry state and the RPers, but consider them really. They're in their own little world. We don't consider that. See, here's the thing with the hardcore, and I don't like digging into groups or communities too much within the 14 community because everyone has a part to play in this, including me. I'm not the only one. I'll take my hits. I'll say what I gotta say. But in reality, we're all responsible for this, including me. This has to be called out. If you don't want this thing that happened in WoW where only the hardcore raiders are left to play and everybody else is chased off. See, this is what the hardcore raiders want. They want to get rid of all the everyone that plays the game. Not the RPers. They can keep the RPers. And just have them do all the content. While pushing everybody else out. Exactly what happened in WoW is happening in 14 right now. This doesn't change. You're going to have a repeat performance of what happened. I want this to happen in 14. Actually, if you think I'm nuts and crazy about it, then you got to pay attention to what's really happening. Because honestly, I don't see myself. If it keeps on going, I don't see myself playing this game. And that's exactly what the hardcore raiders want. They want people to leave the game, but yet keep their account going, so they can keep the servers the lights on for the servers for them. I'm not having that. If I quit a game that requires a sub, I cancel everything. Everything gets canceled, and I ask the company to refund me what is owed back. The time that I'm not playing the game, I want to be. That's what I said. I want a refund. Can you refund me the time that I have left back to my account? I don't want to spend money on a game that I'm not going to be playing anymore. Where Enix did it the last time when I quit because I had to for safety reasons. The main underpinning of this is the fanatics in our community. You need to shut them down. You need to shut them up because all they're doing is sowing more chaos and causing more problems. They're there to divide us. There are elements within our community that are only there to separate the folks out to control them. You might think I'm nuts. Start looking. Look online. Look on Reddit. Look on Twitter. Look on other places. When World's First Race, and another thing too, you should stop the World's First Race. Cancel it altogether. Just don't give these people the opportunity they want. Because if you give them what they want, these people are going to keep on going and continue doing what they do until there's no one left in the community. And they're going to then cry, oh, the game's dead. You caused the game to die. You caused the game to die. There's nothing about it. There's no lies about it. There's no BS about it. Everything points to you guys causing the mess. You did it in WoW, and now you're doing it in 14. And I wouldn't doubt it, you did it in other games too. The gaming is for everyone. Full stop. All the content is available for everyone to play. Full stop. One small sector of the community does not have the right to control who can and cannot do the harder content. Full stop. I'm saying those like that with a full stop because I know people ever see this, they're gonna try to clip it out and say, and say that I said some things that should have been said, and take what I say out of context on purpose to fit their narrative. Now, I'm not a type of person that goes around manipulating people's words. I take people's words how they say it. If you want to play word salad games, fine, play word salad games. I'll cut through it, figure out the bullshit you're saying, and call you out for it. I got no problem with that. I like playing Final Fantasy XIV. I love playing it. It's a fun game. I'm not a fanboy by any means. I enjoy playing the game because it's fun. But I will not be dictated on what content I can do. If I choose to do certain content, that's my choice. I will not have other people dictating to me how and what content I can play. It has been done in the past, and I don't like it. I've been tossed out of a lot of 4-man groups because of my opinions. People don't like my opinions because they say I'm crazy. No, 9 times out of 10 when people call you crazy, you're usually you're over target, and they don't want you to say the things that make people pay attention to what's going on. Form of control. I would love to see more people doing hardcore raiding. Whoever they are, doesn't matter. Get in there and start doing it. What would happen if the entire community decided, oh, we're just going to start doing Savage? The entire community started doing Savage. Then the hardcore community wouldn't have that exclusivity anymore. They don't have that exclusivity. They won't have that. Oh, we're the best players in the game. You're not the best players in the game. You're good at certain type of content in the game. Most of these players don't stick around. Most of them do the hardcore, do the savage raiding, and then do the ultimates, and leave. They don't stick around and help the community out, and serve themselves, and that's it. And what remains? The parsers, the people the speedrunners, and the people who, and I'll say this, who like to cheat. Groups that stick. They're the anchor for the hardcore community. Those are the folks that you need to worry about the most, because the parsers change how things are done forcibly. If you don't do it this way, you're not a good player. You're not putting up DPS, these numbers of DPS, you're not a good player, or you're not a good person. They connect your ability and how well you play the game to value you as a person like that. Depending on how well you play the game, how much of a value they think you are as a person in real life. There's the issue right there. There's no separation between reality and how people play a game. There's an issue. It needs to be addressed. People like that need to be strummed out of the community. I'm not, or told, shut the fuck up, play the game, and keep your mouth shut. Because nobody wants to hear your bullshit. Just play the goddamn game. That's how I feel. If you don't like something, deal with it.
or say something about it. And you make a big enough, well, fortunately, these folks are the most verbal ones out of everyone. You say something on the official forums, they have their throwaway accounts go in and start sandbagging the discussion down and out, because you can't have on the official forums you can't have a decent conversation without being attacked, personally attacked. That's how these folks operate. They don't like it. They don't like it when you want to have open, civil conversation, because they can't control what comes out of your mouth. They want you to toe the line to their rhetoric. But if you have a mind of your own, and if you're willing to put up with the BS, say what you gotta say, they're not gonna be able to get it. As long as it doesn't violate terms of service and use their licensing agreement, I got no problem with it. Say it in a manner that's respectful to not only to the people you're talking to, but a manner that shows that I'm willing to listen, but I don't have to listen to all the craziness that goes on. These folks, the hardcore community, raiding community, wants everyone to listen to them and them only. No, I don't go for that. I don't think anybody else with half of mine would agree with me. Not one group from the overall community should have say over what everybody else does. If you want to learn to play your job better, fine. I got no problem learning it, letting you people wanting to get better at the game. But there should be given variances too. Not everybody plays the same. It's come to the point where all the DPS, regardless of class, is going to be the same. All the tanks are going to be ending up being the same. Everything, all the healers are going to be ending up being the same, with slight little variations or flavors to it. But they're pushing to where everything's going to be the same across the board. Where no one job or class will have advantage over the other. They'll all have the same abilities. They'll all have the same skills. No, weapon skills. They all have the same traits. It's going to happen eventually. You won't need to be balancing jobs in at that point. That's what's going to happen. And it's going to kill this game. Job identity is important for a lot of players. But if you function and operate just like a Dragoon, what's the one thing that makes Samurai different from a Dragoon? Ayatetsu. What separates Dragoon from a Samurai? Their jumps. Here's Gogol, Blood of the Dragon, or Life of the Dragon, and their buffs. What separates Ninja from other jobs? Ninjutsus. Their ability to support, buff the party, buff parties, and debuff mobs. What separates Summoner from everybody else? Their ability to summon summon monsters. Black mages, red mage. It's all going to turn into one homogeneous group of players, a group of characters. They're all going to have the same potency. They're going to have the same cooldowns. They're going to have everything the same. It's going to happen, including range DPS. No, it's going to happen eventually. Now, when I say this because I am concerned for how the game direction that the community is leading to. The community needs to start paying attention more to what goes on. Start voicing your opinions. Every player should be able to voice their opinions. I firmly believe that every player has a voice. They should have a voice. But when you shut those voices down, our core rating community does a lot of times, and they're little orbiters, it's a given fact. That has been happening for a long time. The only thing that the devs lit here, content creators, and the hardcore raiders, a lot of times, same. We mix in with one another. There's no one out there for people who play every day, in and out, grind out the levels, exploring new content, doing other things. There was a former FC member that quit because they asked me a question and I gave them the honest truth. I'd rather be good at one or two jobs than be shit at all. I'd rather be competent in the other jobs and be out, say, from a scale of 1 to 10, I'd rather have one or two jobs at 15 than all my jobs being at 5 or 3 or 2. That's how my mindset is. That's my play style. I focus in on one job and I grind out or find out any and all information about that job. All the little ins and outs, all the little tricks about it. You don't need to have a theory crafter figure it out for you. Most of the time, these theory crafters don't really play the game. And if they do, well, most of them are part of the hardcore raiding community anyway, because, you know, they serve the hardcore raiding community. They don't serve anybody else. They just serve them. And we all know there's two different rotations that go on within the community. There's ones that they put out for the rest of the folks to keep them at bay. And then there's ones that they hold on to that only the high-end players and the Savage Raiders will do, or can do, or they claim can do. Honestly, anyone can do their rotations. It doesn't matter who they are. Anyone, if you take the time to teach folks the right rotation, anyone can do it. They'd rather hold that information close to their chest because they know if people found out about it, their exclusivity of who they are would go away real fast. Now, I said that a while back, and it was proven true. And the theory crafters got pissed off and started releasing what they were at. They started releasing the information about what the rotations that the world's firsters and the hardcore raiders use after the content's not relevant anymore. They release that information. It's planned, and they know it. They'd rather not share that information with the entire community because they know then at that point, the hardcore raiders and the world firsters would be put on notice that, hey, there's players here that can do that shit. And I don't like to see that happening. I like to see a community with access to that information. The more people with that information will develop better players and more confident players. There's players that want to do Savage content but can't because they're worried about their DPS. Because they don't use add-ons. They don't know, or they're a console player. They can't see what numbers they're pulling. They're worried about stuff like that happening. It's a sad shame that you have to do that. information is being withheld from players because they want to keep themselves in that top tier. They want to maintain that top tier exclusiveness. When I can learn the first two major mechanics of P1S in two pulls, I don't think the content is as hard as people make it out to be. Now, back in the day, on the old character that I had to delete because of safety reasons, because the nut jobs in this community came after me and threatened me and my family with their physical health and safety. They literally came to my house. I won't lie about it. They did was bullshit. That's all right because I have something to handle that now. I'm not a scaredy cat. I don't fear people. I fear no man or woman. And that's an honest fact. Because if I really wanted to fear somebody, I'd be more afraid of my own mom and dad figuring out. You know, folks should be more afraid of your own parents than anything else. Because if your parents found out half the things you probably do, they'd probably say, "What the fuck's wrong with you?" That's another God honest truth. I don't fear anyone because there's no. I don't worry. You can be as physically imposing as you want. I know ways to bring down a 300-pound man without a problem. A little bit over 300 pounds now myself. Well, you know, I'm working out to lose that weight. So, I'm getting down there. But anyway, that's a side issue. But anyway, it's about, for me, it's about having access to all the information available, not only for myself, but for the rest of the community. And I'd rather have the entire community have all access to all the detailed information. Like I said, if you want a better player, if you want a better quality player base, give all that information out to everyone. Don't hide it. Don't put it behind a paywall. Don't do anything else. Give these people... this camera's being stupid again. There. Put all that information out there for people. Let them comb through it. Don't hide it behind 5 million other things. Put it out there. Bright as day, broad daylight. 9 times out of 10, you'll find players to find that information, and they will excel. Also, another issue. Part of that being a high quality player. A lot of these jokers that came from WoW bought accounts just to raid. I have an issue with that. If you don't want to go through the process of leveling, understanding your jobs, play something else. Play a different game. Play something else. Because honestly, what you do is you muddy the waters for the rest of us. You muddy the waters for the rest of us, or instead of playing the job and learning the job as you go along, the job you want to play, you have an account already set up, already for rating. Prime example, Quinn. He paid his way to be a samurai, and look what happened to him. The heals, the heals. Some poor excuse for an Aussie, I can tell you that right now. I know a lot of Aussie players, and they laugh at him because he's a piece of crap. They've actually said that to me too. He's just a piece of crap. Look at me, I'm Aussie. I like a blue 14. Ooh. He's a trash tier player. And I'll say that to him. I'll say that right to his face. He's a trash tier player. I got no problem saying it. I got no problem calling somebody trash right to their face. Like I said, I don't fear no one. I don't fear anyone at all. Now, when you start bringing other folks into it, for folks that know them, like these nut jobs did, like they threatened the safety and well-being of my family. Well, then that's a different story. I know that person still floats around in the community, and to him, I got no level of respect for. It'll come to the day when I see him face to face, and then I'll take him out back behind the woodshed. You know what a 3 combat tour vet can do to somebody? You don't want to know. I've done some things to people that would make people in my NCOs go, "What the f is wrong with you? Go just effed him up like you were down range." Was. And I've done that a couple times in my life. I don't like doing it, but when I had to, I had to. I don't think too kindly of people threatening my family, me and my family. Harass me all you want all day long. I don't mind. I'll laugh you off because you're nothing more than a sack of hot air. Now, I'm not an extremist. I react to things that happen to me. Folks said in the past that I was crazy when I said what I said. No, that was a reaction to having shit done to me. And anybody would react the way I did. They'd be pissed off and angry about it. Yeah, pissed off and angry about it. Go figure. But anyway, we'll go back to what we were talking about. The 14 community has to pay more attention to what's really going on. And this also holds Square Enix a little bit responsible too. They need to start paying attention to what goes on off platform, like with Reddit and with Twitter, because most of these little jackasses are cowards. They'll hide on Reddit, they'll hide on Twitter, they'll go on Discord. A lot of them use Discord to hide. Yeah, the Kami Furry computer program that people use. That should be going to Gilded, which I use for myself a good portion of the time. The only time I have to use Discord is when I have to talk to my guild mates and FC mates. Other than that, I don't use it at all. I'd rather stay off Discord as much as I can, because it is not a very. You'll be surprised what you can find on there. You report, Discord doesn't care. As long as they're making something out of it, fuck all. If it doesn't align with their ideology, oh, they're not doing anything to harm anybody. The fuck they're not. You still got communities, you still got servers that are designated to go use to target other players and to harass and harass other players. I've seen it happen. I've seen it myself. There are servers out there on Discord that are designed specifically just for targeting players that they want removed from boards. And other games too. Recently, I had a group of nut jobs. I'm saying this with all the love and respect I have. I had a group of nut jobs recently. Target my Steam account for deletion. Now, my Steam account I hold dear because that is it's the only account I use. I don't have any other accounts. I don't need to make other accounts. They tried to get Valve to shut my account down. For pretending that they were developers from other companies saying that I was cheating when I wasn't cheating at all. And then come to find out, I contacted developers. I said, "What have I done to get flagged for cheating?" They said, "We never contacted them." "Oh, the representative from your company said I was." "We'll look into it." Come back to me about a day later. "Oh, you haven't done anything wrong, Mr. Goat. Or silent guy, old war goat, it doesn't matter." So they tried to shut my account down. My Steam account has a lot of games on it I enjoy play. If I lose this account, I lose over a good $2,000 to $3,000 games that I have saved, that I have bought over the years. Okay, let me see how many games I actually have on this account. Because 72 games. It's not bad. There's some that I've taken off. There were scams. But yeah. That's just the one account I've had since let me see. I've had this account since yeah, it's a let's just say that this account's been around for a long time. Let me see how long I've had this account for. I've had this since 2006. Yep. I had this account since 2006. And almost coming up on 20 years of having this account. I think there's guys like me out there. So when you're coming from experience, you gotta listen to some of the old timers and say, hey, this shit's not working. You need to unfuck yourself. But this and the last generation of gamers, and I'll say this with all honesty, they're fucked. Those last two generations are the generations of entitlement. I will not cater to folks like that. I do not cater to folks like that. I want players to be smart, but do their due diligence as well. Do your research. Figure out how to play a character, play your job to the fullest extent that you could possibly do it legally without having to bend and fudge the rules, like a lot of the hardcore raiders do. They like to fudge the rules just enough so they can get what they want. Oh, and data mining too. That's another topic that I would love to touch. Because a lot of times these guys have the advantage over other players because of that data mined information. And they sell it. Square Enix bans those accounts. And they've also told these data miners to stop. They don't stop. They don't care because, they're making money off the world's first guys. Another thing that they've been doing that the world's first, the hardcore raiding community does too, that they'll set up an account, they'll play through it, and any excess gold they have, they sell to the gold sellers, which they turn into money, which then they use to pay for their subscription. I have no respect for players like that. And hardly any of them craft. So what's the easiest thing to do? Buy gold, go to the market board, buy the necessary items they do, which comes to find out that they're buying, that they're selling, that they're giving the money back to the gold sellers. Or they're just doing it internally. They're not dealing with gold sellers, or they're multi-botching. Like I said, most of these guys are not legit players. I've said this in the past, and I've shown my proof a lot in the past that these people do it. If you really are a good player, you only need one account. If you gotta play on multiple servers accounts for this game, there's something you're up to something. You're up to something. And you can come up with every word, you can come up with any excuse you want to come up with. In my mind, you're up to something. And you can't change my mind about that. Because why do you need, if your account can hold up to 40 characters, why do you need a second account for it? It's a legit question, because a lot of times these guys don't really pay attention to what's going on. I'm just cutting a hangnail off. Trying to get to it. There we go. Nail off too. Sorry about that. I had a hangnail. It was annoying the crap out of me. But like I say to people, you only need one account for this game. If you got more than one account, why? What are you hiding? What are you hiding from everyone else that you don't want them to know? Because that's all it all comes down to. If you gotta hide, if you're hiding something, if you gotta use a secondary account, you're hiding something. Like, I have one account. That's all I need. That's all I want. Oh, wait a minute. Now I can start saying why some of the reasons why. Because if they get busted, they don't want their main account to get... If they're doing something shitty and shady, they don't want their main account to go bye-bye. I think Square Enix should update their terms of service. When one account gets suspended, all service accounts get suspended. And you cannot create another account until the suspension is over with. Or in a case of or a case of outright banning, IP ban or ISP ban. That's it, done. You can't play our game anymore. Find something else to play. And that's how it should be. Why should people be able to? Well, if this account got banned, I'll just go back. I'll just go to this other one. No. Banning of one account, suspension of one account should affect all your accounts that you own. If you're using a VPN to hide that fact, like I said, why do you play with multiple accounts? What are you hiding? Because legit players don't need to have multiple accounts. If you want to play on a different character, go ahead. Make an alt on your same account. Go. What I've done. I got an alt. I got alts on other servers in other regions. I like playing with different variety of people. These folks don't like when you tear the mask off of what's going on. Sometimes Square Enix needs to pry bar that mask off and see what bugs wriggle out from underneath it. Because the community, there's a lot of people in the community that are fed up with things. I like how that music just hit at that right moment. That was a good one. But there has to be a point where the overall player base tells the smaller, splintered ones, enough is enough. Your bullshit's gotta stop, or we will make you stop. A lot of times these guys have second and third or fourth accounts. Why do you need 2 to 3 service accounts on top of what you have already? Like for me, 1 account, 1 extra retainer, that's all I need. I'm happy. I don't need all these crazy side accounts and free account and this account. A lot of people like to do a lot of shady shit in this game. And that's a fact. If you're not paying attention to what's going on, you'll find if you pay attention to what's going on sometimes, you can see some really shady things going on. Like for me, if I want to go play on another, say if I want to go play at my alt and just play, not bother with anybody, just want to play, I would alt. I have an alt just for solo play. Or I just play by myself. Don't bother anybody, don't bother anything. Don't want to be any part of any type of FC. I just play it just to play it, to enjoy myself. My main character, part of it, is an active member of the community who helps out people. Oh, and that reminds me too. And I know some fuckers in our community did this. I had a post on my Twitter. When I do this, I make a character Twitter account. Twitter, showing the good things I've done with my characters. This is what my character has done. This is what my character has done. I have done a good thing for them. To highlight the good things that the people in the community do. folks like us that are genuinely want to help the community be a better place for everyone, and not just for one group of people. But unfortunately, you got these idiots use their position within the community to leverage other players out because personal reasons, because of ideology, whatever reason they want to push people out. Those folks need to be told to shut the fuck up and just play the fucking game. I don't like cursing very much. I hate cursing. But it bothers me when I have to see people that I know people that I know that will not play 14 because of what's going on here. Because they keep telling me this is a repeat of what happened in WoW. They're going down the same route again. I don't want to play 14. And the 14 community needs to start waking up to this. Because pretty soon we're going to have a WoW 2.0. Oh, wait a minute. We are in WoW 2.0 era now. Maybe you might want to pay attention to what's going on. What these idiots are saying on forums and other places. Then you will see how, as a community, what really is happening in the community. It's not all peaches and cream, folks. You might log in to do your dailies and other things and not pay attention to what's going on around you. You need to. You need to, because it's important, and it's important to the livelihood of the community that people pay attention to what's going on. Well, it's not impacting me directly. Why should I do anything about it? No, you need to pay attention to what's going on indirectly, because it will affect you directly eventually over time. I don't say this because I don't say these things because I'm not a nut job. I'll tell you that right now. This is from watching what happened in WoW and seeing what's happening in 14 and saying, this shit's happening again. This needs to be addressed. You want a repeat of what happened in WoW, you're going down the right track. And I can't stand to see that happen. I'll go play another MMO when right now, honestly. If Final Fantasy XIV continues on going down the same track, and you should be only listening to a small vocal group, you're going to have the same problem that Blizzard had. Only that's left are the hardcore gamers and the RPers, and that's it. And the RPers are what's keeping the servers alive for the hardcore raiders. That's another thing, you RPers, you need to start paying attention to what these hardcore raiders are doing to the rest of the community. Because once they start going after them, after they're done going after them, they might come after you next. Or they'll keep you around because they need to keep the lights on. Just put that for food for thought for yourself. You want a small vocal minority that has the ability to harass and harangue other players out of harass and harangue players to quit the game because they have the ability to do so. Honestly, I think you should tell these guys, so you guys need us to keep the lights on. Stop harassing these other people that want to play the game, and we'll have no problem. That's what I wish the RP community would tell these guys. Because the hardcore community needs the rest of the community to play. I firmly believe that there are some things in this life, in this world, that you need to address. And bullies are bullies, and this is what these people are. They're bullies. Cowardly bullies that hide behind the screen that if you face them in real life, they would run in terror. I know a few that know this face already. And I've said my piece to them already. They know what will happen if I saw them in real life. They won't like it. I'd like to put a friendly reminder to those folks. I haven't left the community. I will always be here as a ghost in one way, shape, or form. You might have gotten rid of one of my characters, but there are more, and I will be around until Square Enix bans me, which you cannot force Square Enix to do. I'm not breaking the rules. You have more to lose than I do. Let's just leave that quite clear to the folks that think I'm crazy. I have nothing to lose. Nor do I care about your reputation. I'm here to say that the community needs to start waking up. And not get woke and go broke. To get past that, to see what's really going on. Because actual gamers like me and others that are my age and probably even older see what's going on and don't want anything to do with it anymore because they're tired of it. This generation and the last generation of gamers are fucked, and I'll say that right out. They've been so brain warped into believing that if you don't do this, this, and that, you're done. I would say a lot of this community comes down to it falls kind of a little bit into politics too. The left has overrun this community. The woke has overrun this community. You get the woke out, this game will be a lot better. I have no love for them. I have no love for the woke. And there are Antifa. If you want to think there's no Antifa or BLM on any of the servers in Final Fantasy 14, or communists for that matter, I want to know what kind of crap you're smoking, because that's not reality, pal. Servers hide out. I had to do some digging around, and I called a couple of them out. There's one on Genova called the Communist Party. Tag of Gulag. Now, within the terms of service in their end-user licensing agreement, you're not allowed to have a FC named after that has any type of political ideology. Antifa is one of them. Communist Party is another one. All those players should have gotten banned. Oh, and a little bit of word on that whole thing with the Communist Party with on Genova. They were banned. All of them were permanently banned from the game. I made sure of that. I made a friendly reminder to the GMs that if we're following the rules and you're not enforcing the rules, you're violating the contract. Thus, we can sue Square Enix for violating the terms of service of our contracts with you. And immediately they were removed. All of them were removed. So the Communist Party's gone. Now we gotta go chase. Like I said, I hunt active community FCs and players that are connected to Antifa and other groups, because they are the scourge of this community. They don't play this game. They use it as a way to indoctrinate other players to join their cause. This is supposed to be a game, not a political soapbox to stand and push your rhetoric for. If you want more people to join your cause, go elsewhere. This is a place where people want to enjoy themselves. Now I can talk to a few people. I know someone that knows a couple of people that are reporters, and they would do their digging in on this. And they found out how many people were Antifa that are playing this game. Or radicals of various other communities outside a game that are affecting what goes on in game. You'd be surprised at how much better the quality of life for people would be playing this game. We wouldn't have these idiots running around claiming they're the best and everything else while they're stewing hate and violence outside a game. Some of these guys are really pieces of work. I know one that plays. He lives 2 blocks from my house. Know an Antifa person. He knows I don't like him at all. He knows I'll put him. If this country ever goes to civil war, he knows he's the first one on my list to take out. I'm not gonna lie. I fought for this country. And I'll be damned if I'll let the communists take over. I'd rather die on my feet than bend the knee to another person. Me and about 3 million other veterans do the same thing too. You know it. But that's just here in the U.S. North American community is fucked. Unless they can pull their head out of their ass, collective asses, which they won't because they're loving the smell of their own farts too much. Unlike me, I'd rather breathe fresh air. And that's the problem. The separation of reality and fantasy within this community. Some people cannot separate what they do in game and how they are in real life. Me, as you see here, I'm not putting on an act or behavior for anyone. Neither would I stream when I play fun. I don't BS anybody. I don't need to. Be nice and respectful to just be respectful to one another. Have a good time. You guys want to do some little naughty thing? That's up to you. That's up to these 2 consenting adults. But I'm not gonna sit here and watch a game I love get torn apart by a bunch of extremists who don't give a shit about the game, but care more about control of it. If people were to watch what I watch when I play, yes, I don't talk a whole lot when I play because I'm focusing on gameplay. I'm focusing on trying to be a better player. That's what everybody should be doing. Not come into a community, try to see if they can manipulate the people, and then start playing the game. The game's not about manipulating people to get what you want from it. You're putting the time in, the effort to get what you want from it. If you gotta manipulate people to get what you want from it, you're not playing the game. One person on here, my Discord, that I keep a close eye on because I personally think she's a piece of garbage in society for doing what she's doing. She keeps on asking me to give her a guild. I tell her to go fuck off every time. She's like, I need to go buy this house. Make the money yourself, bitch. Sell items on the market for it. Don't sell your ass online. Because that's what you're doing. You're acting like a hoe in game. I wouldn't doubt it. You're a hoe in real life. Yeah. Garden tools can be mad all they want. They can go. I'll toss them out in the back of a woodshed, where the rest of the garden tools are. Because garden tools mad, you know. But the 14 community really needs to start waking up. I don't think they're gonna wake up until it's too late. And then you're gonna have another WoW situation. At that point, hopefully the game that I financially back is finished and ready to go for alpha testing. Like everyday alpha testing, not just little bits here and there. Everyday consistent alpha testing with, you know, bringing down the servers to implement the changes. When that's done, I'm done with 14 and everything else associated with it. This game is fun to play. But it's the community that makes it a terrible place. And people might say, oh, it's all nice and pretty. I have all these groups of people that I know. Within your little bubble of influence that you have. If you look outside your bubble of influence, there's a lot of people that are not happy with the game because of the way that people act and behave towards one another. I was told yesterday I should go hang myself. In Minecraft, that is. Yeah, I got told that. And I reported that person. Anything happened to that person? No. They're still around. They'll never see any type of action taken against them. Because then Square Enix bans that person, they'll cry, well, because I'm this, or because I'm that, or because I'm part of this community. No, you were being a dickbag and you got busted. That's how you should, that's how, see, this is how Square Enix should be treating these people. Because they want to act publicly whenever they do something wrong and they get busted for it. They want to pull, well, I'm part of this community, you can't do that to me. No, we can't. I would like to see Square Enix say, yes, we can, because you're acting like a total asshat and you needed to be put in your place. Now, will Square Enix do that? Fuck no, because they value privacy over everything else. I had a firm belief: if you do something wrong, you void your privacy rights in this game altogether. If you get suspended, your real name and your character name attached to you should be made public so people can know who you are and learn to avoid you. I don't care if people avoid me. I don't care. Because the people that go actively out to avoid others because of who they are as a person and not for doing something wrong in game. See, this falls back on the current. See, this is another thing I'll let's bring about. The current social climate and the current political climate are running hand in hand right now, and these folks are slowly losing control, little bits at a time. If you can separate their identity from the game to who they are in real life, they lose a lot of that control that they have. Like, I know there's some people in this community that if their real identity, who they are in game, who they are in real life, was ever exposed, they would stop playing this game. A lot of them. Because they like to hide. They're cowards. They're bullies and cowards, most of them. And if you find out who their real identity is, you'll be surprised how quickly people will stop. Can't do anything about that. Can't change anything about it. nor will it change, because these people, as long as Square Enix values privacy of their player base, which I can understand if you're playing legitly. If you're doing things by the book and staying within the rules, yes. But if you break the rules, I think that you should not be given the same privacy rights as you are if you are not breaking the rules. Say if, like with gold RMTs, gold sellers, they should never be given the same rights as a normal paying customer. They're out of the way. They should be never given the same rights as a normal paying customer, because they don't deserve that. They're operating a business and they want to remain hidden from you guys. Why should you hide, protect? We don't need, see, here's the thing. People don't need to be protected. You don't want to protect people, because the more shit you show these idiots, and I'll say this for the fact, the more you hide things from people, the more insulated they are from what goes on around them. If you show people what's going on, hey, this is what's really going on, it starts opening their eyes up to things. I firmly believe that you should never hide anything from anyone, because the truth might be hard to swallow for some, but if the truth is brought out, it's brought out. And then folks will see what's really going on and say, hey, this isn't right. We need to do something about this. And then start talking to Square Enix, sending letters to Square Enix. Like I have. I have sent a letter directly to the Tokyo office, because I know the NA office is going to take what I write and not pass it on to the Tokyo office. I've literally written a letter to the Tokyo office. I had it mailed to Tokyo. It's cost me an arm and a leg, but I'd rather have them know what's going on in North America than what social media is telling them that what's going on. Everything's not fine and dandy within the NA community. I'll say that right now. There's more problems than there are any real solutions. And the few solutions that we do have, the problem children don't want, because once those solutions are initiated, you'll start seeing the real players start standing up. I say this because the only thing I used in my time playing, my current time I'm playing, is a DPS meter for myself. I only use it on myself, for myself. Because I don't care about anybody else's DPS. I'm caring about my DPS. Am I doing the job? Am I doing the job right? Am my numbers showing that I'm doing the job right? I don't care about anybody else's DPS. I don't care what a tank does or a healer does, as long as they're not purposely being a dickbag towards the other people in a group. And I got no issue with it. I got no problem with it at all. But how things go, I would like to see the day that Yoshi P finally puts a foot down and says no more add-ons, no more third-party software. Sorry. And when they start saying, what about the RP community? You'll find a way. Figure it out. Alright, find a way, you figure it out. They'll figure a way out around this. I don't play favorites when it comes to the rules. No one gets a pass. Rules are rules, applied to everyone across the board evenly. You can't do that, then remove the cause of the problem. remove the add-ons, remove ACT. We all know the parsers are part of the problem. Why the community is getting worse? Remove the parsing. Remove it. I'm sorry. FFxiv does do a good thing to help people figure things out. But if you're using it to go after people, there's an issue. You have a problem. If you're using the tools used to help people get better, to harass and chase people out of certain things, doing certain things, you have an issue. You need help. I don't. I know I don't. I don't care if I have an add-on or not. Like I said, I use it at face value for what it is, but I don't use it to gain a rightful advantage over others. I use it for my own self-improvement. That's how the tools were originally supposed to be used. But fortunately, we got those idiots who want to use it against others to make themselves dominant, make themselves look like they're dominant. Weaklings and cowards use that against people. Not every player does that to others. The weak ones do that to others. Take those tools away from them. Sorry, folks, but a few rotten apples spoiled the bunch. They gotta go. But that's how I view things, though. When it comes to community, there's a lot more that goes on. I still think prostitution should be a banned activity in this game. Because they use now Discord to do the transactions now. Yeah, they do. There's a couple Discords out there that does primarily this ERP prostitution in Final Fantasy XIV. Oh, technically it doesn't break the rules. It doesn't break the rules in game, but doesn't break the local, state, and federal rules where you're from. Yeah, then it's still illegal. Do you not realize that? Do you not realize that? Just because you're not breaking the rules in game doesn't mean you're not breaking rules in real life. That's why sometimes you gotta have politics. That's why laws. There's laws on the books for that. It'd be funny if law enforcement ever got a hold of this and said, "Oh, well, look, prostituting within 14, that's illegal." They're using monetary in-game yeah, that's still an illegal activity. You might not be breaking the game rules in game, but you're still breaking federal, state, local, state, and federal law. Go figure. Now, that's up for interpretation depending on where you're from in the part of the world. Some places it's okay, some places it isn't. But I know here in America, federal law, that's a big no-no. Depends on where you're from, too. Nevada, yeah, you're okay with doing that. That's legalized there. That's the only place in the country that it's legalized. Everywhere else, it's not. So, yeah, you can go fuck off. You can go fuck off. If you're not living in Nevada, or you're pretending to live in Nevada and doing it, yeah, you still fall under the watchful eye of Uncle Sam. Oh, and the drug trade too. You know how many FCs out there are just used for pushing drugs around? Boy, you don't know some shit. Same thing with a lot of console players. A lot of gangbangers play Call of Duty and other things. They use that for dealing business with because their conversations are private. I don't know so much anymore. A lot of times they're used to keep conversations private, even though they are recorded. I'm surprised that law enforcement wasn't contacted earlier because of this. I firmly believe Discord should have a. I firmly believe there are a lot of things that should be integrated into the game. Yes, I wouldn't mind a voice chat in game. But you have to opt in for it. You have to opt in for it. And if you get punished in any way, shape, or form, that option is turned off for you for a time period. Like, say if you're caught harassing or saying things that are not right, or using your, say for example, you got those idiots who like to pump music through their microphone or through their voice chat. Immediately, voice service gets shut off. You get a temporary suspension, and from that point forward, your ability to use voice chat is done. You can't use it anymore. But then there's the other thing, the cost and everything else that goes into it. So Square Enix won't do that. Since they have already bought out, sold a lot of their Western IPs for about $300 million for blockchain stuff. OCP's doing a good job trying to keep blockchain stuff out of 14. You know, as soon as blockchain stuff comes in, the moment that happens, is the moment 14 loses, Final Fantasy 14 gets shut down, because then it turns into a everybody then at that point would be assigned a value. $1 or an NFT and a crypto value, a dollar value associated with that player. I don't want to be associated. I don't want to have an NFT connected to my character at all. I'll say that right now. If they do add NFTs to Final Fantasy 14, I will quit this game in a drop of a hat. I will not play a game that has NFTs. Sorry, that's how I am. Any game that has an NFT to it, I drop. I firmly believe gaming should be used for entertainment and fun, not for making a living or having it turn into a spreadsheet game. Then we gotta deal with the crypto bros, and they're just worse than the fucking shitbags that we have to deal with already within the 14 community. Bad enough we gotta deal with RMTs and gold sellers. Now you gotta deal with the crypto bros. It's one half dozen of the other. Take your poison. Who do you want to deal with more? A crypto bro or a gold seller? Me personally, I don't want to deal with either one. But if there was a lesser of two evils, I'll put the guild sellers on block. Crypto bros you can't get rid of. Because once they start infesting something, they start going to town. And it makes it worse. And a lot of times what happened recently, over the last month or so, with NFTs getting stolen, over about $10 billion worth of it stolen, should make you pay attention a little bit of what goes on within the gaming community overall in general. NFT gaming just doesn't mix in my book. NFTs in Final Fantasy 14 definitely doesn't mix. I do not wish to see any games have NFTs in them. If they got NFTs in them, I will avoid them like the plague. I've already said this to a few people already. If 14 has NFTs in it, I quit, and I will quit the game at a drop of a hat. And I hope the rest of you folks will follow. Because at that point, we'll all become a spreadsheet value of crypto bros. The better player you are, the more money you make for them. For them, not for you, for them. You gotta realize what's going on with this, too. Play to earn. That play to earn bullshit that a lot of these guys are pulling out right now, that's full of shit. You need to watch out who you're dealing with too. But the 14 community has to come to the point of where they have to start waking up to what's going on. Because the radicals in our community have taken control of it. And I'd rather be an individual, be an informed individual, than be a sheep. Be a smart player, not a sheep, I say, the Raiders. You know why I say that? Because real raiding, you need to use this noodle to figure shit out. You need to use this noodle to figure things out. If you got to use a guide or a video to figure things to have it figured out for you, you're not a real raider. I'll call you that out the way it is right now. Real raiding requires you to think, to figure out stuff on your own. If you got to use CACBot, which I know that's been used, and if people say, "Oh, I don't use that bullshit," there's folks that can tell that you're using it. I can tell when people are using it because they so-called move out of the way right before it even shows up. It's not too hard to figure out. Or they start moving towards a person on a stack before the stack marker even shows up. Kind of like a dead giveaway there. I don't like calling people out for bullshit, but when it's being done, you need to say something to people. And this is not cool. You need to stop this shit. I've said that to people in the past. But you know. Yeah, look, I keep telling people that it's not cool to be doing it to people. But anyway. Let me see. No, nothing good here. Nothing good coming from this or Steve. See, here's another thing too that I seem to notice as well. I gotta update all these because there's stuff that's coming out. Updates to my games. But the main thing I like to impart to folks that gaming should be fun for everyone. Full stop. If you're looking to push people out of gaming of a particular game because you don't like for who they are, what they say, how they look, or do anything else that might offend you, which is such a broad subject that you can be offended by just about anything. Maybe you need to take some time to separate yourself from the game and reevaluate yourself. Because if you gotta insert yourself into a game and apply real world politics to a game, you need to stop playing. Start looking in, because there's some issues with you. I don't inject politics. I don't like injecting politics into gaming. I hate it. It makes for a less fun experience. But I do enjoy watching people who do it get their day of reckoning comes to them, because then what it does is it assures me that I can continue playing without having to deal with that issue. If you can't stop injecting politics into real life politics into a game, you need to stop gaming and start figuring out what you need to do with your life. For me, streaming is fun. I enjoy it. People politicize it and everything else. Take that fun away from streaming. You make it a chore and a job, then it is an exciting thing to do, a fun thing to do. It should never be the people who do it take the fun out of things for others. And I'll say that. I'll say it. It happens. It's happened. Look at what's going on with Twitch. You think I'd be on here? You think I'd be on here if it wasn't what was going on for Twitch? I'd be streaming on here every day. On YouTube. Just playing games. Not saying anything, just playing games. Having fun. Interacting with people. Somebody even said, why don't you turn into a VTuber? You're not cute at all. Fuck off. I don't gotta mask who I really am. If you can't accept this face because I look ugly, but yet I can play a game really well, you're fucking shallow. I don't care what a person looks like. As long as they can play the game efficiently, and have fun doing it, who gives you the right to dictate who can do what, who can stream what, who can and cannot stream anything? That's the problem I run into a lot of times when it comes to streaming. There are folks out there that will dictate who can and cannot be streaming and who should not be watching, what everybody else should be watching. I would never tell somebody to stop watching somebody unless there was something glaringly wrong with what they're doing. I will never call out my viewers for doing shit that's for doing the right thing. I call them out if they're doing the wrong thing and fucking doing it in a way that's harmful to others. Like cheating. Or pulling certain cards, society cards in a game that doesn't require to have those real life, or let me rephrase that. Injecting real life politics into a game. You don't need to inject real life politics into a game. If you got to, you got issues. The beard's starting to come back. I have to go over my head one time real quick. Hair's starting to come back in. I'll keep my hair short. It's a little cold today because, you know, fuck all, Mother Nature wants another snow cone. I said that a few times and people laugh when I hear that. Why is it so fucking cold? Why is it so cold? Because Mother Nature wants another snow cone, that's why. They laugh when they hear that. Like I said, it's about having fun and having a good time. Now, I know you can't always have fun and a good time in real life. I know that. I can tell you I know that because I spent a good portion of my 23 to 30 to 39 I spent in the military. I know a good portion of my life was spent in a structured environment where there's very little fun. It's business, the time you wake up, the time you get off duty for the day. I know what it means. I don't know what it is. It's stressful work. Highly stressful work. And actually, to a certain degree, I enjoyed it because it was good work. It was good, honest work. You were doing the right thing. Although there was politics at play as well at certain degrees. You gotta understand that this community shouldn't have to revolve around real life shit. If you can separate yourself from that, you're a better person. That's a better individual. You're better growth of an individual. Like for me, I don't play games a couple times a week. I just sit and watch YouTube videos or read stuff online, or go into my garden to de-weed it, or do some maintenance work on the garden. I do things. So in the morning, first thing I do, I wake up, I take my dog for a walk, then I go for a morning run. I do things. You want to talk about me not touching grass? Some people even accuse me of not going out and touching grass. Motherfucker, my hands are full with dirt. You telling me that I'm not touching grass? Bitch, you don't know. And I'll say that to some of those people. Bitch, you don't know, because hard work does come have to happen. But I'm not going to sit here and dwell on that because it's not worth it. Time and the effort, because it's too much BS. So, the best option to do is to, when you play your game, focus on playing the game, focus on interacting in a positive way with the rest of the community, as much as you can. And I know some of you fucks on Twitter did give you a prime situation. Now, like I said before, I have a Twitter account for my characters in 14. Now, I posted something on there a while back on Twitter, which Twitter dumpster fire as it is, saying I did a good thing. I was helping other players out. I helped the player out by giving them food and giving them positive encouragement to the point where they started crying IRL because they said, hey, I'm a caliber player that should be world's first or even, a world's first, on par with a world's first player. That's for caliber of player. I said, I'm just being a good person. That got that post tagged as sensitive material. Helping someone out, helping folks out, telling folks publicly, hey, I did a good thing. I was helping people out by giving away food. Instead of selling it for cash, I did a good thing and helped other players out. And I'm going to be doing that again within another month, probably on the day of my birthday. Crafting food and giving it out to people. I'd rather give back than to take a lot of times. Because giving back changes things for the better. It shows people care. It shows people do care. I care about the community in the game. About 14. I care about 14 in the game. And for those naysayers that like to say that call me crazy and all this other stuff, look in the mirror, asshole. I'm not the one trying to control or dictate people what they want to do. I just want to give somebody a good day. Give them a good laugh. Give them a smile. Make their day a little bit better, because people sometimes need that. You want to be a sullen asshole all the time. Be a control freak. The community doesn't need you. And I don't respect you. I'd rather see the community happy and enjoying playing the game and doing whatever they want to do within the boundaries of the rules, whatever they want to do to make their day a little bit better. I can't see dictating to a community what you can and cannot do, because if you're not Square Enix and you're telling people what they should be doing and not be doing, you need to look in on yourself. And you say you're doing this for the community, you're not doing it for the community. And I'll call you out for that. I will never treat people as lesser beings. I'll never treat people like they don't care or they don't belong. I will never treat people like they don't deserve a home. People need a place where they belong. If you're not willing to give that to people, goddamn, I'll do it. Have fun. That's all. My only requirement is have fun, but play within the rules of the game. Don't cheat. Don't do anything shady. Don't try to play the gray. Don't try to play within the gray areas. I'll be fine. But on that note, I do have to go to the bathroom. I'll be right back, folks. Don't go away. We got more to talk about. I am back, folks. There we go. See this face? Some people think I'm crazy. I'm crazy. I'm crazy like a fox. You don't know what the hell I'm thinking. Because I can dig some information out on some. See, honestly, I can dig out information on anybody if I really want to take the time and effort to do it. Do I choose to? No. Here's the thing, folks. There's a certain degree of when people decide they want to be assholes towards the community and do it in such a way that keeps them out of the spotlight, but still do it. I'm drinking water too. I need to. Oh. This is my third bottle of water today. I worked out this morning, so trying to replenish all the fluid that I lost. But let me get some light in here. Because I like to have some light when I'm chatting. There we go. Oh, my camera's jiggling around too much up there, so I'm gonna fix it. Yeah, you can see my bed's not really made today. I'm having sheets. I'm washing my sheets right now, so that's one of the reasons why I had to go take a break and go to the bathroom to go see what's going on with it. But the next topic we talk about is add-ons and third-party software. Now, I talked about it before earlier. I ran, but not to get into the dirt, into the weeds of things, because it really needs to be brought up to talk about. The mistakes from WoW, like I was saying before, is starting to spread to 14. Add-ons and third-party software is another thing. Now, add-ons on their own, quality of life things, if it doesn't violate terms of service in the ULA, I got no problem with it. Stuff like CACBot, I have a problem with. I don't use CACBot. I refuse. I'll give you the stink eye in my brown hole and bend over and show you my butt, brown hole and all. If you're using CACBot, because honestly, real players don't use it. Real players don't use any add-ons or third-party software. Real players will know when you're doing the right DPS. You don't need all these crazy things to figure out what your DPS is. You can have two equally geared guys. Same level, same gear, same job. Do the same rotation. How come we get two different numbers? A few things. Could be response time. Speed connection. Which is mobile, which is 9 times out of 10 what it really is. Oh, that reminds me too. I need to start saving up for I'm getting my internet connection. I'm getting my own internet connection because apparently family that I've been giving my money to have internet in the house wants it for themselves now. I said, if you want it, take over the payments. I'll buy my own. And they didn't like that answer. So, but anyway, that's a whole person that we won't get into. But I think the add-on and third-party thing has caused more damage in this community than a lot of people think. Every job in Final Fantasy XIV is viable. That if you know your rotation of that particular job, it's viable in in-game content. If you have to, I said it earlier, I used add-ons in third party in ACT to help myself get better, to improve myself. I don't use it against with other people. I only use it for myself. Alright. When I make a mistake, I have the add-on oopsie for myself. What did I fail? What did I miss? So I know what I have to fix and correct. I do it for myself. Problem is, too many people use it to go after and harass other players. And FF logs, I can understand, is a useful tool, but unfortunately, the bad apples of the community are using it to harass other players and value a person overall outside of game because of FF logs. Are you out of your fucking mind? I don't want an answer for that one, because I already know the answer for that one. Anybody with a right mind would say the same thing. I don't value a person based on how well they are, how well of a game person they are in game. You can be a shitty person and be damn good at a game. That's something I do not do to others. It's not cool. That's not a cool thing to do to somebody. If I have to value a person's worth based on what they do in game, you have an issue. You have solid issues. I can be a terrible person in game and do some of the best things humanity has to offer. You still call me a bad person in life for that? If so, you need to go get your head checked. I did marvels for my country. I served the military. I did the right thing and go chase down fucking Al Qaeda in the desert. And go deal with the Taliban out in Afghanistan. Help keep our country safe. From what it was back then. You know what the response was when I got back? Spit on, kicked. I had somebody throw a punch at me a couple times. A few people throw punches at me a few times, and they paid a price for it. But the cops were called. People said, well, he was defending himself. The guy threw a punch at him. What do you expect him to do? He gave the measured response. He threw a punch, he put him down on the ground and held him there until the cops came. And that's unfortunate. Or if you do the right thing, people will dub you as a villain for doing the right thing. Like where I lived, there was a cop that was getting harassed by this idiot. Came up on a cop, grabbed him by the back of his collar. I grabbed the guy and I said, "Nope, you don't." Boom, throw him down to the ground and held him there until the cop put the cuffs on him. I did that. Now, where I live, the local the wannabe gangbangers, and I'll call them wannabe gangbangers because they're not gangbangers at all. They like to pretend they're gangbangers, but they're not. I made them fear of me. They're afraid of me. When they see me walking about with my dog, they don't bother me. They go, "Oh, hello there," and they keep walking. Neighbors like me because I keep them. I will do what I can to keep people safe where I live. I live in a really relatively quiet neighborhood. But here, we don't fuck around where I live. You know that term, talk shit, get hit? Well, call a shit, get hit. Is the term we use around here. And the only reason I stepped in to help that cop out that day because he got sucker punched from behind by some crazed Antifa dude. And someone tried to bail him out, and the judge was like, "Nope, fuck no. He doesn't get out. He struck a cop. He doesn't get out of jail." That's how it goes where I live. You hit a cop, you don't get out of jail. You don't get you don't get bail. You don't get bail at all. Now the cops don't take too kindly about them getting help from time to time, but that's okay. But anyway, back to the whole issue about using tools for the right job, for doing the right thing. The problem is that the tools are being used properly by the folks who are using them the right way. The problem is there are individuals in the community, when you hear parsing and you hear speed kills, invoke a that situation. Normally I'd go, whatever. But their behavior and that mentality that they have is starting to spread to easier content. And that's a problem that needs to be addressed. The problem I have is that 4-man dungeons should be where people should be learning how to run your classes, learn how to do your job right in an actual applied environment. It shouldn't be pull everything to the wall poles. What about people trying to learn how to play their class? Don't care, wall poles. Not the right answer. It should be where people should be learning how to play their jobs. 24-man, there I can see a little bit of a flux. 8-man, Savage Raid, normal raid and Savage Raid content, that's where you start paying more attention to your rotations a lot more. A 4-man dungeon should be a place where you should be learning how to play the game. Doing your dailies, that's where you should be learning how to refine what you learned already and applying it more what you're doing. When you're at level cap. When you're not at level cap, you should not be speed running. That's the unfortunate fallout of what these parsers and speed runners and speed kills do. It's starting to infect the rest of the community. It can never be wall-to-wall points. It should be a learning. 4-man should be a learning experience for everyone. If you have to speed, if you want to speed kill or speed run group content, do it with a dedicated group. Do a pre-made, go through there. Don't do it in pickup groups. And no, it's not meta. I'll say that right now. Nowhere damn near close to what it should be. It's not meta at all. It's never been meta. You're trying to force meta. Metagaming in a learning environment is definitely a no-go. You're setting players up for failure. Let players learn their jobs. At level, if you're at level 90 and you go into a normal dungeon, not even a daily dungeon or a leveling dungeon, you should know that there's players still not under fully understanding their job fully. And just take it, and you should be there to help them out, figure out how to play their jobs a little bit better, give them helpful hints. I do that. I have 2 jobs at level 90 that when I go in as a dragoon or as a warrior, I give helpful hints. Hey, here's a little tip from what I learned from doing so in other dungeons. This is how I did it. I don't know if it'll help you out. Maybe something to give. Need a little bit of wisdom. 10 times out of 10, you'll get a thank you. Oh, that does help me out. Thank you. You'll only get 1 person out of those 10 runs that will say, "Why are you trying to help me? Stop telling me how to play my game." I'm trying to give you a helpful hand so you can be better at the game, at your job. I never asked you. There's always going to be that 1 person. But back to what I was saying. Speed runs, speed kills, be their own little separate thing. Do a pre-made. Don't go do that shit in pubs. And if I hear wall-to-wall polls are the new meta, fuck off. Yeah, my camera sucks. It's just a shitty little Logitech cam. Not a DSLR, which I don't have the money for. Wish I did. That'd be awesome. But anyway, like I said, it's never about being proficient or being quick and fast. It's about knowing your jobs right from A to Z. And applying what you learned. Because, before I even start hitting a dungeon, I hit the training dummy. Or I can practice my rotation. So I know what I'm doing when I get myself into it. I spend a good 10 minutes doing that. It's my main job, which is Dragoon. I hit training dummy first, and then I go out and do what I gotta do for the day. Always what I've done. And if I do any changes, I go back to see what I did wrong in my rotation, and I look at it, and I'm like, this isn't right. Okay, this is the adjustment I'm gonna make. And that's how I am. Every day, first log in, hit training dummy. It helps you keep your skills on point. Like with tanks, there is a rotation, but I forget exactly, and I have to sit down and remember for whatever job. Like I said, I'd rather be highly proficient with 2 jobs than be shit at all. Well, I technically free because I have a Reaper, which is at 90, but I play him for fun. That's a fun job. That's not me getting into the weeds with. I would have to learn that. There we go. I'm putting up I put up a poll. Do you think four-man dungeons? I think four-man dungeons are for applying what you learn from your job. I'm saying yes. I really would like to hear what you folks have to say about this. I'm not a type of person that goes around and camera. There we go. But like I said, it's all about learning your job properly. If you're doing level cap dungeons, yes, you should know your job by then. Enough to be proficient with it. Be proficient, not excel at it. Take your jobs into 24-man content, hard level cap content. Yes, you should be proficient at what you do. If you want to excel, 4-man dungeons are the way to go. You want to push yourself, do it in a 4-man dungeon, level cap 4-man dungeon. Anything below level cap, which is 90, should be for learning or applying what you learn. It should never be about speed running. This also brings up the This also brings up the next point. Why does parsing have to do it should never be about so. Yeah. I'm like I keep telling people, I don't like it when folks play around. You know, it's like I said, I'd rather have folks folks having fun. Yeah. And like I said, folks need to really understand that if they take away wall support, if they outright ban, I think it froze up again. If they take away all that support for mods and third-party software, you should be banned it outright. You will see a lot of people jumping for joy because then take away that sense of exclusivity that excluded a lot of people from doing this. And you would expose a lot of people for who they really are too, because a lot of these meat sacks wouldn't be able to cut it without an add-on of some sort. I do not And it would also cut down on a lot of the problems that are going on in the community. A lot of the problems in the community that we have right now are because people don't care to watch, don't care to actively say something to someone. Hey, why are you using this? It's in this content you don't need to use add-ons. Cut them off. If you're doing something that doesn't require add-ons, like if you're crafting or gathering, you really need to have a crafting. I can understand that there's time nodes, but it tells you in the, if you press, like for example, for gathering, if you press the B button, oh, I have mine set too, it'll bring up stuff that's gatherable. Hold on. Pardon me. But it shows you. Oh, don't mind the red nose either. I did to my nose this morning. I was popping. Did to my nose this morning. I'll get my nose. Yeah, even at my age, I still get zits, and I have acne still, so it doesn't matter. It never goes away. I wash my face 2 to 3 times a day, and I still get acne. Doesn't matter. I keep my face clean. I can only do so much. I pop them anyway. They drain out. That's all. But anyway, my main thing is that add-ons and support should always be the last. Add-ons and third-party support should be the very last thing players should turn to. Unless the game is not giving you any information at all that you need to figure some stuff out with. Which, honestly, the game does a very good job of keeping you informed of things like AOE markers or line AOE markers or any type of marker. Something bad's going to happen to you. You need to figure out what's going to happen. Like a stack mechanic or a spread mechanic. The game tells you. You don't need an add-on to tell you when you should stack, when you should spread, what you should avoid. If you have to use a third-party program for that, you're not a good player. You're honestly a pretty shitty one. I've learned by trial and error that using those markers only hinder your ability to get better. It takes you some time to get used to things. Even I make mistakes, and I'm not perfect. That's the thing about playing games like this. You don't have to be perfect all the time. If you want perfection, program a bot to do it. Oh wait, you guys already have bots doing that for you. Last night I ran across a party of two bots. Me and the other person said hello to each other. We said hello to the other 2 players. Hey, how you guys doing? Guess that was a good night, I said. A little friendly, like, no response. As soon as the gate was open, took off running. Okay, what did they get through this dungeon? Started pulling a bunch of shit that even they couldn't handle. Me and the other DPS are going, these 2 are bots. They weren't replying to anything we were saying to them. So we reported them for botting. One of them was on the server. Both of them are on the server which I was on. I went to go find out where they were. I saw them and then they plucked right away. They disappeared right away. Now I have it set up to where it shows animations for when you do something. It should have showed them, doing that whole animation that they're teleporting. Nope, they teleported out and went somewhere else. I'm like, that's odd. I reported that. The GM's like, you're reporting these guys. What's going on? The GM asked me. Well, I said, I've been noticing them. I noticed some weird things going on with them. I noticed them when they were first in the dungeon with them. And they didn't say hello, didn't say anything else. Went right to, as soon as the dungeon started, went right towards the boss, started pulling it towards the first group of mobs, pulled everything up to the first boss, died. Did it again, twice in a row before it picked up and started learning that it can't do that. That's what I think a player stepped in and said something at that point. I think they were catching on that they were botting their character. And they didn't want to get caught, so they decided to take action. And I called them out. And I was like, "Well, that's a good thing because you're botting, and we can tell." And they didn't like that answer. Like, how would you know? You don't know anything about what I'm doing. We can tell you're botting. Not too hard. This is a level 72 dungeon. Lakeland, you don't have to be going crazy. Really didn't pop any cooldowns or anything else. Was only doing the basic attacks. Not even AoE attacks either. Basic attacks. Don't you guys realize? Don't you realize that what you're doing is hurting the community? Who cares? As long as I can do savage raiding content, I don't care. So at the end of the dungeon, we both reported both of those players, and it turned out it was the same person running both characters. Go figure. And he got banned, and then he cried about it on Twitter. Then we shut him up, saying that you were botting, and we caught you. Literally caught you because the other person was streaming it at the time. And then they said, "I'm persecuted." No, you got caught cheating. That's why you're getting called out. Was the response from me from Twitter on my ghost account that I so-called have. No, I called him out. Not on my Twitch account, the one I use for sending out alerts, but on my actual 14 Twitter account, saying, "We caught you doing this, man. Here's the proof. Here's the logs to show it. You can't lie. You can't run. What are you doing? What game are you trying to play with people?" They're like, "I got banned because I was dual boxing. Me and my friend got banned." No, you got banned because you were dual boxing. You and your friend, quote friend, which is not really your friend because it's somebody that you're dual box. You're running 2 accounts on the same PC. You're cheating. Terms of service violations are a bitch to try to get around, and you're not getting around it. Because when the GM looks up your thing and sees them coming from the same IP address, 2 accounts coming from a VPN using the same IP address coming from that VPN. Because if it was 2 people, it'd be 2 different separate IP addresses. You're not smart. You're not smart at all. That's the number one problem. I think that's one of the huger problems in the community is botting. You get rid of the botting, or why do people need multiple accounts for? I keep saying this. You don't need multiple accounts. If you need multiple accounts, something's fishy. And you can give any type of word excuse you want, word salad excuse you can give to me. I'm still not going to buy it. You're doing something fishy. You can have 40 characters on one account, spread out, 8 on a server at once. You don't need a second account. Like I said, what are you hiding? And the 14 community should be very close to seeing that. If you have another character on the same account, I can understand that. You want to play this character, I can understand it. You want to play on a different region, I can understand that. Because I can play here and play in EU or JP, or even on Australian servers. As one Nick Rick will call it, Australia doesn't exist. It's not real. Because he goes about the flat Earth theory. We'll lay it down under flat Earth. Throw it underneath. It doesn't exist. But that's a side joke. But for the most part, folks, you got to understand that the community is not tolerating. It's starting to get very intolerant for the bullshit that people are creating. I do not, in my opinion, if you have more than one account, you're up to something. You only need one account to run everything that you need to run on. Why do you need a second account for? So you can trade between your other account? That seems kind of sus. You really don't need to do that. If you want to, tell a friend of yours, hey, can you hold on to this for me? I'm going to swap to my other account. I want you to my other character. I want you to give this money to my other character. I've done that. That's a legal way of doing it. Because at the time I was saving up money. I had a secondary character just for crafting and selling stuff. It was funny, the retainer names I had for him. One was Sims for Gil. The other one was, give me your Gil now, biatch. Give me your Gil now. The other one was, take my Gil. It was funny, because I did that just for jokes. And people were starting to who are these guys? They're selling all this stuff. And it started catching the people who play the market board. They were starting to get kind of curious of who I was, so they started digging around on my IP one day. Fortunately for me, when they tried to go take a route into trying to take a peek into my computer of who I was, they were immediately greeted with a, "Oh, you dumb fucked up" type alert. Alerted me to who they were, where they were playing from, their IP address, and what character that was doing it, because it was coming from the servers. They were using the servers as a conduit to get through into my computer. Nice try, assholes, because I figured it out early on what to do. And, yeah. Turned around, contacted Square Enix, said that this person tried to access my computer at this time. I know this is not your IP address. This is a player using your servers as a way to get into my computer. You need to have a nice little talk with this person. And I handed the GM all that information. The GMs came back and banned that person permanently from the game. ISP ban, ISP banned them. And then they cried on Twitter about being banned permanently from the game. And then someone said, they said, I didn't do anything wrong. Why should I get banned? Because you're using the server, the carrier jump into my computer. That's why, you dumbass. I said it on my Twitch thing. You're using the server to piggyback your signal through their server to get into my computer. How the fuck do you think How do you think I'm not gonna know what you're doing? Really? Because Square Enix doesn't intrude on other people's computers. And the rest of the community said, dude, you did that, you're fucking wrong. You're done. And the rest of the community just dumped him like a bad habit. He didn't come back and play anymore after that because they sent his ISPA. He will not connect to our servers or connect or interact with any of our customers anymore. We do not want him interacting with any of our products, online products. The ISP had to comply. So he cried about it. He got banned. He's never coming back. He went back to WoW. He tried doing the same thing to a WoW player, and he got away with it for a time being because he was doing that and stealing people's gold at the same time. So yeah, like the famous Sun Tzu, keep your enemies close. Keep your friends close, but keep your enemies closer. The same exact thing that I did. I had to keep an eye on him because I didn't know if he was going to make an attempt to come back to 14 under a different guise. Oh, he did come back later on under a different ISP account, under a different name. He couldn't do it himself. He stole someone's Wi-Fi and started doing his shit again. Well, he got caught again. This time for ban evasion. And for some other things, more legal things, like criminal legal things. And he got, from what I remember, because he did get in some trouble for it legally, but Square Enix asked the police not to make it public. They kept it quiet. They arrested him. From what I know, he's in jail right now for white collar crime, so he's in a middle security prison, no access to the internet at all. So yeah, he's not doing good. He's not in a good place. But like I said, I don't do shit to people. With this, that's gray hair. That's gray hair. That means I'm getting old. I know that's not true, or anything else. No, I don't do that. No, I don't do that. Nope, don't do that. But yeah, no, there's some things in the community, like I said. Force these players to have one account, or if they have multiple accounts, one gets suspended, they all get suspended. For the same amount of time. Not, oh, I got banned on this account, so I'll just jump on this one. Square Enix should be paying attention to how they're logging in too, because if they're using a VPN to log in, and you hear the excuse of, who's my ping? You're full of shit. I don't use a VPN and I have a good connection to the servers. A lot of times people who use it have something else in mind. And we all know what that's used for most of the time to cause problems. If you gotta go roundabout ways that make yourself look like you're doing something legit, you gotta put more work in to make yourself looking legit than you are being legit. You're not a gamer. I'll say that. Actual players don't use VPNs. Actual players, I don't use a VPN because I don't, when I play games, fuck off. I got a halfway decent I got a really decent, really good firewall and antivirus, so I don't have to worry. I only had one attempt done on my computer. I don't care. What are you gonna do? Find a bunch of video games and get memes and you know, aura buds. No, just kidding. Just kidding about that last part. No, what I'm saying is that, folks, there's why to be hide everything? What do you gotta hide? I don't have anything to hide. What you get? That's how I see it. But my privacy. Your privacy only goes so far. When you're using your privacy to go after others, is when you don't get privacy. You should never get privacy if you're using it to harass or anything. And if you're using a VPN just to mask what you're doing, you're up to something. Usually. 9 times out of 10, you're up to something. And I don't believe in using that stuff. Unless you're doing something illegal, or you're doing some digging around publicly, and you don't want people to figure out what you're doing because, you know, idiots like to keep eyes on people because they know if they find out what they're doing, they can get called out, shit on. But that whole thing with a while back, that Mr. Happy got banned a while back for using the in-map feature when we all know he was using something else. Can't see. See, there are some add-ons that you don't see, that don't show up on the screen when you stream, that other players can see. I think the whole thing of showing what you're streaming legit forces people to be legit. When they can't be legit, oh then fuck you. You don't deserve to be funny. That's how I feel. That's what I feel. That's a unique topic. But anyway, back to the whole thing with parsing and everything else. It causes problems in the community. The behavior and the mentality is infectious, and it does cause problems. Why should someone who's learning how to play the game have to speed run a dungeon if they don't even know what the rotation is yet, and they can't apply it? I'd rather do a dungeon where people are learning how to play a job. Let them understand how to apply what they learned. You know, because you can only use a training dummy so much. At a point in time, you have to learn what you apply, because overworld mobs are not really... They're too squishy to actually learn what you're doing. You can only maybe get like 3 or 4 moves off before they die. Or if you can go through your entire rotation on a single mob in the overworld when you're weak, it goes to help out a lot more than it does anything else. But to the point to where you have to go and say, okay, I gotta learn how to do my rotation. Overworld mobs are doing it. I need to do it in a dungeon. That I can understand. That I would go for it fully, completely. But fuck all. In the community thinks that speedrunning and speed killing is the way to go in dungeons. No, it isn't. There has been, never will. 4-man dungeon, no. Be a learning environment. Fully be a learning environment for people to develop their skills. Actually apply what they learn. Also in the overworld too, yes. Overworld and 4-man dungeon. Because if you're making a mistake in the overworld, you won't know you won't know if you're making a mistake in a dungeon or a raid until it's too late. That's a fact. That's an actual outright fact. I've experienced that myself. If you don't, that wasn't because, you know, not getting any. When the community doesn't want to help. See, here's the thing: the community only helps people that they want to help. If you're asking for help and you're not getting it, much of a helpful community, right? Most likely. I'd rather see people excel and be good at something, and then fail, and they be mocked and laughed at because they're bad, but because they asked for help, no one was willing to give them the time, spend the time to give them to help them out. That they get mocked. Now, if you're willfully not wanting to learn, that's a different story. Point, mock, and laugh at them all they want. But they asked for help and they didn't get any help. That's a different story. Then you say, okay, if you ask for help and nobody's willing to give you the time of day, I'll help you out. I might not know what job you're playing all too well, but I might know somebody that might be able to help you out a lot. That's a different story. You want to call them bad for not knowing their job, even if they ask for help and you're still going to call them bad, you're not doing that person anything good. You're just making fun of them at their expense. If you're willfully being ignorant, that's a different story. I point, mock, and laugh all day long then because you're not wanting to learn and you expect other people to conform or in it. No. Carry your weight in this game. You have to carry your own weight in this game because if you don't carry your own weight, you're not going to go. I'm a team. Me, myself, I'm a team player. I prefer to pull my own weight first before helping others. If I'm not pulling my own weight, I got to find out what's going on. No, what am I doing wrong? And then try to correct that problem. If I can't do it immediately, then I'll say, hey, let me take some time to fix this. Figure out what I'm doing wrong and fix my efficiencies. And then when we do this again, I'll be better prepared. That's a better thing to do. But to force people to conform around you because you don't want to conform, it's not a cool thing. I'll probably definitely to the parsing community. Why should the rest of the party suffer because you want a good parse? Don't purposely fuck a clear run because you want a good parse. If you go into a clear run knowing that this is for clearing and you try to pull your little parse behavior, to be honest with you, I'll boot you out right away. I made parties, pickup groups, clear runs only. Don't care about parsings or logs. This is for clear. This is not for numbers. I don't care if people come up great and we still get it cleared. Clear's a clear in my book. You do all the mechanics and you still get it cleared. That's a better thing to do because you know you've done the job. Now, if you want to go back and parse or do a log clear or log run, by all means, that's on you. Don't force it upon other people. I've been on the receiving end of a parse run when people were just going for clears. And the parser screwed the entire party up because more numbers are more important than the clear. We actually had to throw out 2 people out of a raid group that I was in a while back. They were looking for a parse more than they were for a clear. I'd rather, like I said, clear the mechanics, do what you gotta do to get it clear, but don't set the bar so high that it's not possible. And that's the unfortunate thing. These parse players, and these log players are creating the bar so high that anybody who's confident enough to go through Savage content make it a nigh impossible task for them to even do it. Because you must hit this number in order for you to clear. No, you don't need to have that number in order to clear. Go to I'm 5'9", I'm 5'89" on my Dragoon. I go out to the training dummy, time training dummy, and do my practices there and practice there. If I'm able to do it there, then there shouldn't be a problem. Don't tell me that you can't do it. I have done it. There's no excuse for any of this. And that's the worst offenders. Now, if FFlogs, to be honest with you too, FFlogs is not officially recognized by Square Enix at all. Just to let you folks know, they're not officially recognized. They should not be able to dictate what goes on in raiding. Those folks should not be able to dictate what goes on in game. Should not have any type of influence whatsoever. I've had my beef with the head of FFlogs in the past. I'm at that age where I don't give a shit what he's got to say. And he doesn't say anything to rein these idiots in and say, hey, use this as a tool to help yourself out. Or if you're seeing somebody that's having a hard time, help them out. Don't use it to attack others. He hasn't put that statement out either. Nor will he. Now, Deadly Boss mods have been talking about taking a step into Final Fantasy XIV. If they do that, the raiding community will be ruined for everyone. Whether it be 24-man, whether it be normal, any level of raid content, they will ruin it. And they're just repeating the mistakes from what happened to WoW. They don't pay attention to what's going on in WoW. It's going to be here's the thing. I think Accolon and Belliard Gaming best said it. It's a race to the bottom. Wow. The mod makers are outpacing the developers. The developers have to create harder content. Harder and harder content where it becomes near impossible to play without it's going to get harder and harder to play until they create content that makes it impossible to play without the add-on. That should not be happening. The game should be accessible to people who do not use add-ons to play and to interact with that content. If you have to have an add-on of any sort or third-party software to interact with content just to clear it, you're not actually playing the game. I'll call you folks out for it now. I know there's a bunch of people who use bot or others that I will not leave unnamed because you all know there's other third-party software out there that does the work for dungeons and raids. We all know there is. So you don't have to play stupid with me because I already know what they are. So, would you like the truth, or would you like the harsh, sour truth, or would you like a sugar-coated lie? People don't like the truth a lot of times because it's hard to swallow. Sometimes you have to take that pill. You have to take the L and swallow the pill. The truth. You might not like it. You have to deal with it. Now I'm trying to get back into WoW. After I stepped away after Cataclysm. I didn't like how that was going on there. I got one of those one per server type weapons, and I drove the ire of the community crazy that I got a hold of it on my server. They didn't like that, and they got pissed. So I left. But it ain't worth it. Ain't worth all the harassment I got for it. Put me on par. Oh God, it put me on par with a lot of the high-end raiders. To the point to where I was getting asked, "Hey, you want to join us? Hey, you want to join our raid group? Hey, I see you got the one only. You want to join us?" I was interested at the time. I was like, "Yeah, well, give it a try. Go give it a shot." Why a player like you have that weapon? You shouldn't have it. Blah, blah, blah. Only high-end raiders should have that weapon. You should give it up to me. I'm like, go fuck off. Exactly what I said. Go fuck off. I got it. Don't hate. Go drink your salted tears somewhere else. You're not entitled to everything. Not everyone should have everything. Firmly wholeheartedly believe. Not everyone should have everything. Hardcore raiders should not have everything available. Should not have everything. If they want everything, make it to where if they want everything, they have to break the rules and do it. And that's how I feel. Let them break the rules and do it, and then you'll get rid of the trash. And I would love to see that happen. I don't mind putting the work and the effort into getting things. I don't mind doing it. I enjoy it. I enjoy putting the time and effort into things. But to have it handed to me, it doesn't feel like it. They should make it where there should be no drops in raids in 14, but weekly tokens. And you use those tokens to buy what you need. I feel that should happen. A universal token, not book from here, book from there, book from here. No. All these different currencies, just make it one universal token across the board. But unlock access to the better weapons and gear the more you clear, though. Okay, so you cleared up the P2. This is what you can access. This is what gear you have access to from those tiers. Once you have that gear, all that gear there, and you're able to go move forward to the next tier, you clear that tier, then you have access to that next tier of gear. That's how it should be done. And the tokens you've accumulated allows you to access whatever, to purchase whatever you can, but you can only get them once a week, though. Oh, you cleared? Guaranteed token. Okay, now you have access to that gear. Depending on the token, depending on what tier you cleared, how many tokens you have will dictate what you can buy that week. And you cannot collect any more than one token a week. From each of the different fights. You get one token from 1 to 4. If you clear all 4, you have access to whatever gear weapons you can afford that week. If you save up, make the weapon like, say, 8 tokens. That's 2 weeks. And the random, the amounts you get from it, yeah, make those, okay, you got it. Here's your mount for it. I wouldn't mind doing that. And world first, to be honest with you, even if I was a world top end raider, I don't care about rules for if I had the opportunity to clear the hardest content first before any of them, still would. Like, okay, so what? I don't care. It's not going to be anything special. Just flashing your EP around. And then behind the screen, you got some 300-pound dude. Some dude that's some misshapen dude that sits there and does nothing all day. Like I don't know. I do things all day when I'm not streaming or doing anything else. But it's just the fact that there should be some make people work for it. If you want it that bad, put the time and effort into it. And once you clear it and get all the gear from it, or if you want to gear up your other jobs. Like for me, if I was able to clear consistently P1, I would go in just to get a piece of gear every week. Or something to help me improve what gear I do have. I'm not saying being exclusive, but I'm saying if you really want the gear that bad, you work for it. And I'd rather work for what I get. And I do want to put the time and effort into doing Savage Radio. A lot of add-ons. I'm telling you, add-ons in third-party software are really not needed in this game. The information that's put out by other players, by the community, is enough to get you through. If you got to use DPS meters or FFlog, or got to use add-ons or DPS meter. Honestly, if you're looking for self-improvement, yes, I can understand it. But when you're doing it in a raid environment, you shouldn't even have it turned on. Like when I go through normal I call it Pando. When I go through the normal Pando, I don't use any add-ons. I don't use third-party software, I don't use any. 4-man dungeons, I don't even do it either. The only time I'll use a DPS meter for myself is when I do Savage. The only time I turn it on. At this point for me, 589 Dragoon, I can go in and do the Savage content. I'm trying to find people that are willing to go in and not listen to these idiots. The blacklist players. Yes, it happens in this community. Players are blacklisted. That's another topic that needs to be brought up for another time because there's some digging around I got to do for that. And there is a Google file that is floating around currently. There is a Google file that has a list of blacklisted players. Because after what Square Enix found out about 4chan and the list there, well, they switched it to a Google Doc. And they move it around from player to player to make sure that nobody gets a hold of it. If somebody gets a hold of it and they're able to download all that stuff, ooh, Square, you would have to have people on their ass for that. And it actually does happen. Folks literally are getting blacklisted in this game, and I don't like it. You shouldn't be blacklisted. The only time you should be blacklisted is when you do something wrong that violates terms of service or end user licensing agreement that gets you banned. That's the only blacklisting that should be going on, or blocking that player because you don't want to communicate with them. But blacklisting players capable of doing content because you don't like them or for some whatever reason, you're wrong. You're wrong and you know it. And the people that support you in that function, you're just as wrong as they are. You need to go dive into a flaming dumpster of shit. In Minecraft. So, with that being said, I'm gonna call it here for the day. I just wanted to talk about what was going on. You guys will. This brings about more talk and conversation about how Yoshi-P should go on from here, because, like I said, the 14 communities treading down the same path as WoW is doing right now. If they continue on going down this path, you're going to run into the same situation of what happened in WoW. Only the hardcore players and the role players are left playing, and everybody else is left. Can't have that. Until then, folks. Take care, be safe, and have fun. I'm out. I'll be on Twitch tomorrow, playing something different. Something different Saturday, as I like to play different games other than Final Fantasy 14. Take my mind off it. Good, fun. Have a good time doing it. I hope you guys will come see me on there on Twitch. Twitch.tv/Old War Goat 39. We'll go have some fun. You'll see me having fun. You'll have a good laugh at me failing and messing around and going fuck off. I might be playing Crystal Project. It's fun. It's like Final Fantasy 14. No, like Final Fantasy. Switch classes around, get access to it's a fun game. I'm playing it right now off stream because I'm having to enjoy it. It's my relaxation.